Welcome. So this pick a card reading is going to be advice for helping with your anxiety. So this is for anyone who's suffering some anxiety. This was inspired by an experience I had yesterday with someone who was suffering from anxiety, and I remembered just how horrible that can be. And even though I have cured myself of having anxiety, I was in a small space with somebody suffering a pretty ferocious anxiety attack. And it reminded me very much, my empathy kicked in, and I was reminded very much of the suffering and discomfort that goes along with that, and pure panic, really, and desperation for that discomfort to end. And so my thoughts and prayers and compassion are with anybody who is suffering in that manner. And I know it's a very difficult position to be in, and it's difficult to take tips while you're in that state. And so if anxiety is something you are prone to, you may be more apt to watch this when you are just prone in general instead of when you are in an attack. If you are in an attack, grounding yourself, focusing on your breath, surrendering, accepting what is. These are all quick tips that I've learned that help me along the journey of getting myself out of anxiety. Anxiety was arising anytime I had a thought. So I understand that it can be very overwhelming and hard to get out of. Okay, so this reading, like any other pick a card reading, is meant to remind you of something you already know. So I'm not predicting your future or telling you how to live. You should only take the messages that resonate with you as truth for you. And that would be because they're a remembrance for you. Because we each know what we need from inside of us. We have a guidance system, and we need to follow that guidance system to know what is best for us. So it's not wrong to get advice from others, to reflect off of others, but we should always default to our own judgment for ourselves. I should rephrase that to say discernment for ourselves. So please use discernment in participating in this reading, but take some deep breaths before you decide. You're going to use your own intuition to decide if one of these readings, 1, 2, or 3, have a message for you. Okay, so don't stress about it too much. If you can't really hear any internal guidance, just pick one that you like, pick one that appeals to you, and listen. And if it has something valuable for you, you'll know it. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Okay, number 1, I'm going to start just by shuffling this deck. You see my camera shaking. It's because I've actually got this set up as a little area to do my spread in, but I cannot get the camera to balance. You should see the balancing act I've got going on here. But I'm sitting on my bed, so as I'm shuffling, the camera's shaking a bit. Let's see what is the nature of this anxiety? Okay, pile number 1. That over there. The nature of this anxiety is there's something being held on to that it's time to go. You may already know this, maybe something that you've been trying to let go of. You may be ungrounded. Okay, the nature of the anxiety. Okay, and there may be something in your diet which is agitating your body. Okay, so your body needs some attention. Connecting with nature is something we do for our body. We ground our body to the earth so that the the body can handle all the energy running through. So these two things are really about taking care of our body, connecting with nature. You know, hug a tree, get barefoot. If you can't get barefoot, or hug a tree at this time. Tapping your cheekbones. Tap your cheekbones, the top of your cheekbone, while breathing in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. I'm just taking a moment to do this as we talk about it. This is a grounding exercise. You can also imagine cords running from your root chakra down into the center of the earth. Okay? Being in water, taking a bath, those are good ways to connect with nature if you can't find yourself outside. And vegetarian is suggesting that there's something in your diet, there's a need for nutrients. Nutrients are found in vegetables, and sometimes, and so fruit can also be beneficial in the same way, because basically what you need is this energy from earth. It's sun. The sun is what you get through the vegetables. Okay, so if you cook your vegetables and your fruit, you know, not as much benefit. This is saying your body needs something to help it do its processing. It needs something more light. If you're eating heavy foods, it needs light foods. If you're eating processed foods, it needs foods that are dense in nutrition. And if you're just eating regular, normal, and it might just be that your body is upgrading and needs to change. And this might be the thing that you're needing to let go of, is an old way of eating, which was perfectly fine, normal, and healthy for that segment of your life. But now you've stepped into a new way of being, and you're practicing a new segment of life, a new way of being. And so this is also kind of suggesting to, like, not beat yourself up. Give yourself a lot of benefits of the doubt. You know, when we practice something, we're learning it. So we don't want to harp on mistakes. We just want to learn from them, you know. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. So you are definitely letting go of something. Okay, this time I'm just moment. So bringing yourself back to this present moment, not what's happening in the future, not what has already happened. There's nothing that you have done that is not forgivable. You are God's child. In this present moment, you are safe. You have all you need. And you deserve to take really good care of yourself. And so this does mention saying goodbye to the old, meaning there may be some things you have to let go of to make room for this new way of being. It might mean that you have to rebel against something that you used to be. Do things you love. Do only the things you love. When stars come out, I think, you know, reach for the stars. And I also think, like, look at the stars. And I also think, like, look at your astrology, you know. So set big goals. Have something that you're reaching for, you know, through this change you're making, because you want to know where you're aiming for, so that you know when you get there, so you know when to celebrate. You should celebrate how far you've come already. But you might want to look into an astrology reading, you know. And I'm not just saying this just because I sell astrology readings. They are really helpful. And definitely can alleviate some anxiety, understanding that your challenges have been built into the design and that you're doing fine. Okay, let's see if there's just one more piece of advice from this other deck. Okay, these three just flipped right over. Pluto. So this is a very deep transformation that you're going through. It's nothing on the surface. It's nothing as simple as how you eat, okay? How you eat is anchored in something much deeper, and this is transforming on a very deep level. And it's going to transform in such a way where it will show on the outside in your expression. And that's why this rebel comes in. It's because what you're doing may go against the grain a little bit. You know, not necessarily for all people, but maybe just for the people that you're around. Okay, and rest. You know, don't push yourself too hard. Being gentle did come out in this reading as well. Practice, practice, practice. Rest in between your practice, you know. Lots of benefit of the doubt for yourself. Lots of drinking water. Lots of just being. So if you're a person who's always doing, this reading is suggesting that it's time for being. And to let yourself off the hook and to know that you are going through some major, major changes. This is one that people tend to ignore, and I'm guilty of that, actually, because I would say that I've known that my body just wanted vegetables for a long, long time, and for a long, long time I've tried to just eat vegetables, but then allowed myself, I've been practicing, because I have still allowed myself things other than vegetables, and every time I always know that it's not what my body wants. My body's been very patient with me, but I certainly, you know, wish that I didn't put this off. So I am putting this as a bigger priority in my own life now lately. And it feels really good. And it feels really good to be gentle with myself and not beat myself up over it taking this amount of time for me to make that decision or finally be able to follow through with what I wish for myself and for my body. Okay, so I think overall this message from Spirit is that you're doing great, keep going. Yes, things are changing, but you can do it. And this lavender essential oil might be something that appeals to you. These oils are pretty cheap at Walmart, actually, although I don't know the quality of them, and I understand there are lots of higher quality oils available on the market, and totally go for those. But if you can't, you know, if you can't spend a lot on an oil, this was, I think, $6 or something. Okay. So, and it smells great. Very relaxing. I always feel the difference right away. Okay. All right. Enjoy your vegetables. Enjoy your vegetables, guys. Thanks for watching. Okay, now we're going to go with pile number 2. Hi, pile number 2. Thank you for joining me. So we're going to get some advice. We're going to get some advice for any anxiety you've been experiencing. And I'm just shuffling the cards. This is going to be a remembrance for you. So if it doesn't ring true for you, don't try to make it fit. This message would be just something that felt true for you, that was helpful to you. So that would be the purpose of this reading, okay? The first card that comes out is Love Life. The nature of this anxiety. Okay. I'm just going to keep shuffling. So there could be something going on in your love life that is causing you anxiety, or the fact that you want a better love life could be causing you anxiety. Connect with nature. So you're ungrounded right now. That's part of the issue. You're a lot in your head. You're not thinking in terms of the earth and what is here. You're thinking up in your head about what could be. Okay. It looks like there's going to be a change either in, it may not be in the relationship itself, like as in a person. Like it might not be that you're saying goodbye to a person and hello to a new person, but it could be. It could be that you're saying goodbye to an old way of being in relationship and hello to a new way of being in relationship, which you would form based on being more grounded. Okay. Just going to get one more card here. A vegetarian card flew out again, a business card, and I'm not going to go with them because it was a chunk, so I'll go with this. All right. Debt paid off. Okay. So this relationship that you were in, there were some karmic things going on in this relationship. And karma is just an energy that needs to be balanced out, right? So sometimes we carry it in from other lifetimes. Sometimes it will originate from this lifetime. What our soul wanted to learn is our karma. And other players in our lives help us play that karma out so we can learn the lesson that we needed from that energy. And what this is saying is you have learned. If you haven't integrated the lesson yet, you've learned what it is you need to integrate. So perhaps taking the space from somebody else to actually integrate what you've learned, spend some time in nature to digest everything, learn the spiritual lesson from what you've just been through in your love life. Because whatever you've learned is going to cause you to change and do things a new way. So you may just be at the point where it's an ending. You're at the end. And you have not yet started anything new because you're still going to connect with nature. Absorb that you've paid off this debt, meaning you don't have to live that cycle out anymore. This is not something you're going to play out anymore. You're taking the spiritual lesson. Spirit is like anything unseen, right? So the part of the lesson which was not obvious, it's like something that is going to like click into your psyche, or just like an understanding like that way doesn't work, that way doesn't work, that way doesn't work, that way doesn't work. I've tried all those ways. Okay, well, what way would work? Maybe the debt was learning what doesn't work so that you can head in a new direction to find what does work, And the nature of the anxiety could be that you're not implementing the spiritual concepts into what you're doing. If you're just trying to do what you're told, then that could be part of the issue causing anxiety, because you have a spiritual nature about you. There's parts of you, that are your soul, that are here to experience and learn certain things that are maybe looking to be acknowledged at this point in your life. And so this anxiety may be caused by not yet integrating this lesson, not yet digesting what it is that you wanted to learn from the experience that you just had in your love life, or are having in your love life. Okay, let's see if I can get some advice cards then. Any advice cards in this deck? Have a good meal together. Have a good meal for yourself. Food. Food is like an indulgence, sensual. Up here. Oh, take each other out to dinner and repair the relationship. Like, get together for a meal. Discuss these new concepts. Discuss that there's a need to do it differently. That there's no more need to play out that karma anymore. Ask for a sign. If you don't know what to do, ask. Ask and you shall receive is a very real thing. You know, who's going to answer you? Well, the universe will answer you in different ways, whatever way is most appropriate for you, whatever way they can get you to listen. So is it going to be something, a sign you actually see on the side of the road, or someone's license plate, or something someone says to you, or a line in a movie, or a song, or a picture in a magazine? You know, what is your sign? You know, you decide. Oh, look at this. You got the rainbow. Okay, so this is very important that you do this. This is very important that you repair this. And breaking bread, perhaps, is a good way to do it, right? Because you're sitting and you're both in a more gentle, docile state. You're about to indulge in something yummy together. You may be in a public place, but repairing this is very important because you are building a rainbow bridge. There is a need for us to evolve out of an old way of relating, an old relating paradigm. And you are part of that. You are part of evolving that at this time on Earth. Old ways of relating turning into new ways of relating. Okay, we don't longer have to play out the old way. There's a new way. You may be inspired by nature. Eat foods that are closer to nature. That's very important. You can connect to nature through your food. Okay. Wow, the rainbow bridge though. Yeah, the rainbow bridge is a concept where I've been kind of paying attention to the fact that we are building a bridge from the old way to the new way. And I call that bridge the rainbow bridge. And I actually do a lot with the rainbow energy. So I work with it quite a bit, and I usually only let people in close to me if they'll take the rainbow bridge, meaning they'll take the high road, they'll take the new higher standard that I've set for relating. So, okay. Some more advice. Neptune and grounding. Okay, so we did recognize there was a need for grounding. So part of the anxiety is that you are ungrounded. And so one grounding technique that I know of is to tap your cheekbones, breathe in your nose and out your mouth. You can also imagine cords running from your root chakra, or the bottom of your feet, right into the center of the earth and being tied down there. Okay, so grounding to the earth is going to be very important because your body is running a lot of energy through it right now. And grounding to the earth is going to help your body handle it. Just like we ground an outlet for electricity, our bodies need grounding right now. Like very, 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 very important. But you have everything pulling you off the ground, and that's okay too. So this is part of the advice card, Neptune. It's like you need to be aware of the fact that there's a spiritual side to everything. Okay? So part of your advice is to acknowledge the spiritual side to everything. Acknowledge that there's something unseen, that yes, there's the solid food, but there's also this ethereal thing that you can't grasp and touch and hold. It's love, right? It's like part of what we're doing here that can't be spoken, that words can't describe or contain or be. Neptune is the planet of illusions and disillusions, you know, so there may be something that you're believing that isn't actually true. There may be something that you're believing that you can create. Like this imagination is very, very important, and you may not have been utilizing it up to this point for this matter. And Oh, yeah, this reading is asking you to take your view up a few notches higher, to alleviate your anxiety by looking at the much bigger picture, like the much bigger picture, but they still want you to stay grounded. Very important for you to stay grounded. So you are bringing that huge big picture, that big beautiful picture to the ground, to earth. You're building a rainbow bridge between that old way of doing things and the new, and you're doing it with your imagination. your intelligence, and with another person that you're repairing with. You're learning with another person to repair things that have been broken. Okay? And it could be ethereal bonds, cords. You know, you could have been getting signs all along, and you were just not able to recognize them because you were doing it an old way, and not willing to incorporate the spiritual side of things. So the universe would send you a sign, and you would not pay attention to it because you would not value or prioritize spiritual signs. But the universe is giving you spiritual signs, and they do want you to know that you've paid off a debt in your love life, and that it's time to revamp it, and getting grounded is very important for you, while you acknowledge that there's something here that isn't grounded. Okay. Oh, very nice. Whew. Just I'm taking some deep breaths here. If you want, you can accept and receive this energy of grounding that I'm sending now. It's just kind of like an anchor to the ground. And I'm going to disconnect myself to it. And you just take the essence of the grounding. Imagine yourself being grounded to the earth. And you can just kind of feel yourself settle in. Okay. Thank you for watching. And I hope that helps. I hope that helps. And if that doesn't help, there is something that will help, okay? Don't give up. Reach out. Keep looking. And find the thing that will work for you, okay? We're going to do pile number 3. Pile number 3. Okay. Pile number 3. What is the nature of your anxiety? Obviously, I'm going to need some more cards. Okay. Are you planning a wedding? Are you in a commitment? Okay. I feel like maybe there's a lot of variety in this group, or let's see how this goes. So the flowers and the marriage, that's where I got like the planning the wedding, and now here I get emotional healing and marriage with new career. Like marriage is a commitment, and so isn't a career. A career is a commitment. So I'm looking at using essential oils. So flower power often makes me think of essential oils, you know. These are very helpful in shifting your vibration. So I highly suggest using essential oils. But the nature of your anxiety is that you have old emotional pain that you are healing. And it could have to do with marriage. It could have to do with being well, you know, being healthy. And it could also have to do with your career. Okay. I'm kind of feeling like this is a pile. You may be someone who suffers with quite a big amount of anxiety about a lot of things that are in the realm of worry for you on a pretty regular basis, meaning there's quite a bit of resistance on these topics for you. Okay, I'm going to take out another deck. Time for some reinforcements here. Let's do the nature of the anxiety. The nature of the anxiety. Okay. So the nature of the anxiety is basically that you have made a lot of decisions in your life and done a lot of things, right? And you've gone through life and you feel like you've failed quite a bit. You feel like you haven't done what you needed to do exactly. And maybe you haven't even known exactly what to do. Because you've been trying to fit into the notion that others programmed into you, such as your parents, such as everybody has to do. And what was programmed into you was not true for you. But you've still been trying to live it. You've still been trying to live up to the expectations of others in marriage, career, and life in general, and your health. And so you've been going along doing what they said is right, but it wasn't right for you. And now the anxiety is the resistance to taking the stand for yourself and acting on your own truth. Like it's time for you to take the ability to respond back into your own hands. Okay? So you have an ability to heal the emotional wounds stemming from the failures that you've had. And the way that you do that is accept them. And love yourself. Love the part of you that failed. Love the part of you that needed to go the long way and to make a lot of mistakes before she learned. Love the part of you that needed to know what it was like to be in unrequited love. Love the part of you that had to know what it was like to not take good enough care of your body so that your health was failing. Love any part of yourself that has failed in any way at all, because you were doing your best. And when you know better, you do better, and that's all we can each do. So basically, this is just a matter of you giving yourself permission to be who you are instead of what everybody else wants you to be. And that's really hard. That's really hard because in that moment, when I say that, I can feel the panic, like, well, I need those people, you know? And so there's some base work that needs to be done with this pile, and that is heavily centered around self-love, acceptance and care for the self, okay? You've done nothing wrong. You've been doing your best. These failures are part of life. They're actually part of lessons. It's just that the example that you had, the truth that other people had fed into you, made it so that you weren't able to move past any of those learning hurdles in a way that made them helpful to you in their wisdom gained. So now you're just going to be reaping the wisdom from all you've learned. From anywhere you've follied, these are wisdoms to be gained when we take responsibility for our actions, when we know our own truth. Like, we know what we do want by knowing what we don't want. Like, that's just the way it is. That's not wrong for us to learn that way. Well, this card just flew out too. Okay, so you have had a lot of struggles. Now, the first thing I want to say is let's acknowledge that you have had a lot of struggles. You've had a lot of struggles. That's a lot of areas. Just like I said when I started reading this pile, it was like, okay, there's a lot of things here. Like, it's heavy. I can feel that. And I'm acknowledging your struggle because that is important. And it's important for you to acknowledge your struggle. Yes, you have struggled. It has nothing to do with anybody else's struggle, and we don't have to think about or compare ever to anybody else's struggle. It's about you. You matter. This is all about you right now. And now validate your struggles. Validating your struggles is the same as accepting your struggles, meaning you know why you struggled. There's no other decision you could have made in that moment. There's no other experience that you could have had in that moment. That experience was your experience, and it was perfect for you to learn what you had to learn. it's a valid struggle because you know the struggle of it. You feel the pain of it. You feel the suffering that you've been through. Validate that for yourself. Accept that that exists. Okay? You went through this. It wasn't fair or right, but there is something you can do with it. And you can take the lesson, reap the wisdom from the pain of it. Now you know better. Now you know. Since you know why it happened and how it happened, you know that you can take steps based on the lesson you've learned to make a different choice in the future. Okay? Whenever you can, wherever you can, if there are choices for you to make. Okay, some advice, please. Okay, so you're getting this card in the advice. Actually, the first two piles had this card as well, so that's interesting. We're all kind of letting go of the old and making room for the new. And what this is saying is for you, yeah, there's a lot you're letting go of too. And after you accept these struggles as lessons, guess what you're doing? That's a way of letting go of them. The reason that these struggles are hanging on in your consciousness, causing you worry, is because they hadn't been integrated as lessons yet. And so, as you are integrating them into the lessons they are, you're saying goodbye to them. You know, you're now able to act from the wisdom that you gained from the experience of it. Wow, more. This card has come out in all the piles too, I believe. So connecting with nature is very important right now. Getting grounded is very important right now. So any time you spend outdoors is going to be beneficial for you. The shower or bath is another way to get connected with nature, since water is part of nature. Grounding yourself, look up ways to ground. Okay, when I get bugs as advice, bugs has to do with nature, yes. It may be just a personal message for you, but I always look to outside interference, and I'm gonna have to say, like, it did fall on the nature card, so maybe observing some insects or things like that. But bugs can also be like things bugging you, like these old things that are bugging you. Like, say goodbye to them. Some crystals could help. Okay, so go to the crystal store. Go to the crystal store. Feel out what crystal could help you and your vibration at this point. You're going to want something grounding, so black stone. You're going to want something to help with your heart chakra, so a green stone. You're going to want something to help you with that root chakra, so a red stone. Okay, and then go. It's like, don't wait, all right? Don't wait. We went over this. Everything's been in disarray. Nothing is going to change unless you take a step to change it, okay? And this is empowering you to do it. Like, it really isn't, it's asking you to do it. Like, you take a step and the universe will meet you, okay? You got to take the steps, get your vibe up, because there may be outside influences, you know, distracting you. You know, this is going to take everything you got. This is going to take everything you got. But you got it. You do got it, okay? Spirit isn't saying go with an exclamation point because he doesn't think you can do it. But he is recognizing that it's uncomfortable. Like, you will have to go through uncomfortable spaces, and this is because you're going to have to look at your beliefs. Something that you're believing may not be true, or something that you're about to learn may shift how you live. And it's something, you know, that's going to be very fair and consider all sides. Maybe you've just not been able to consider the other side of something yet. And in doing so, you know, you're going to shift big. But being okay with the discomfort is something you're going to have to do, because basically if we're calling into question your beliefs, that's part of your ego is holding your belief, perhaps. And that means that part has to kind of die, right? That part is being let go of. That part is being integrated into you as no longer necessary for guiding your path forward. And that may be something you have to grieve. That may be uncomfortable. So be gentle with yourself. All you're doing is questioning your mind. The unquestioned mind is where the trouble is. So it's in your beliefs. It's looking at the other side of something, balancing the scale. Okay, so something you believe, something that's causing you the most discomfort right now, it's out of balance, that's all. You have to balance out the scale of that belief. Zero it out. Find 3 reasons why the opposite of what you believe is true. I know that sounds weird, but do that. There's also, that's basically based on information from Byron Katie's The Work. If you look up on Google Byron Katie, The Work, you'll find that she offers a worksheet for free to fill out and basically zero out energy, balance out your beliefs on something. So it's called the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. So you would take any of these situations within your marriage or career or life that were still bothering you and causing you discomfort and fill out that worksheet to help you balance out your mind and question your mind on these things. And you can get free of this, okay? All it is that you're letting go of something that's no longer serving you, and you're doing a great job at doing it. You've been completely overwhelmed. You've done nothing wrong here, because you've been doing your best, and your best is good enough. Okay, so look into some essential oils for relief and some crystals, because when you got all this energy scattered in all these ways and worries, you know, these helpers like crystals and oils are so vital and so strong and so important and so helpful. Like, you think it's just a rock. It's not. This holds a frequency. And if your frequency is lost in all the worry and anxiety, then this can help ground you. This can help hold you in a certain frequency. And if you need that, this is like it's gold, you know? Like this rock is not just a rock, it's a frequency. And these oils are not just smelling pretty, these are frequencies. So any help you can get to kind of ground and center yourself in order to create the space to balance in is going to be very helpful. Okay, I think we went into that enough. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, for trusting me to look into your discomfort and anxiety. I have been there. I do understand, and I'm holding space for you to get through any of the discomforts that you're experiencing. Okay? Please be very, very gentle with yourself. I'm just gonna throw that out there one more time. Let's end on that note, you know, because none of this is wrong. None of this is late. It's right on time. You're doing the right thing, and just please be gentle with yourself as you go through letting things go that no longer serve you.